Have you ever looked at the price of nuts in the grocery store and wished there was a cheaper, fresher alternative? Imagine stepping onto your patio, balcony, or into a small corner of your backyard and picking fresh, organic nuts straight from your own trees. Most people assume nut trees need huge gardens, many years to mature, and expert gardening skills. But modern dwarf varieties have completely changed that idea. Today, several compact nut trees stay small enough to grow in containers while still producing generous harvests year after year. They fit perfectly into limited spaces, require surprisingly little maintenance once established, and can provide delicious homegrown nuts for many seasons. In this video, we're sharing 7 of the best compact nut trees for container gardening that prove you don't need a large property to grow your own healthy harvest. Some of these trees may surprise you with how well they adapt to life in a pot. 1. Dwarf almond tree. If you want a tree that's both beautiful and productive, the dwarf almond tree is one of the finest choices for container gardening. It offers stunning spring flowers followed by a rewarding harvest of fresh almonds, giving you both ornamental beauty and edible rewards from the same plant. Unlike standard almond trees that grow into large landscape specimens, dwarf cultivars remain compact enough to thrive on patios, balconies, and in small gardens. Most stay under 6 feet tall when grown in containers, making them easy to prune, care for, and harvest without special equipment. Another advantage is that dwarf almond trees often begin producing much sooner than many larger nut trees. With proper care, gardeners may enjoy their first almonds after only a few growing seasons instead of waiting for many years. Long before the nuts appear, the tree becomes the highlight of the garden each spring as its bare branches burst into delicate white and soft pink blossoms that closely resemble ornamental cherry trees. The floral display is so impressive that many gardeners grow these trees for their beauty alone. To encourage healthy growth and reliable harvests, place the tree where it receives at least 6 to 8 hours of direct sunlight every day. Plenty of sunshine promotes stronger branches, abundant flowers, and improved nut production. Well-draining soil is equally important because almond roots dislike constantly wet conditions. A lightweight potting mix blended with perlite, coarse sand, or fine bark allows excess water to drain away while keeping the roots healthy and well aerated. Water regularly, but avoid overwatering. Allow the top layer of soil to dry slightly before watering again, which encourages deeper root growth and reduces the risk of root diseases. As the tree matures, occasional pruning helps maintain its compact shape, improves air circulation, and allows sunlight to reach the center of the canopy. Fertilizing during the growing season also supports flowering and nut development, but avoid excessive nitrogen because it encourages leafy growth at the expense of almonds. Over the years, this attractive little tree gradually becomes a dependable source of fresh, homegrown nuts, while continuing to brighten your garden with spectacular spring blossoms. 2. Hazelnut tree. Hazelnuts may not be the first crop people think about for container gardening, but they're actually one of the most practical nut-producing plants for small spaces. Unlike many trees that develop a single, large trunk, hazelnuts naturally grow as dense, multi-stemmed shrubs. Their rounded growth habit makes them especially suitable for containers while remaining easy to manage on patios, balconies, and urban gardens. One of their greatest advantages is their dependable productivity. Once established, hazelnut plants can provide reliable harvests season after season without requiring complicated care. As long as they receive proper growing conditions and occasional maintenance, they remain healthy and productive for many years. Although hazelnuts perform best in full sun, they tolerate partial shade much better than many other nut trees. This flexibility makes them an excellent choice for locations that receive only several hours of direct sunlight each day. Plant them in fertile, well-draining potting soil that stays evenly moist without becoming waterlogged. While hazelnuts appreciate regular moisture, excess water should always be able to drain away freely to protect the root system. Pollination plays an important role in maximizing production. Many hazelnut varieties produce significantly larger harvests when another compatible variety is planted nearby. So gardeners with enough space often grow 2 different cultivars together for improved yields. Regular pruning also keeps the plant healthy. Removing older stems encourages vigorous new growth, improves airflow, reduces overcrowding, and stimulates the younger branches that usually produce the greatest number of nuts. Beyond their edible harvests, hazelnut shrubs add considerable beauty to container gardens. Their rich green foliage and naturally graceful branching create a relaxed woodland appearance that pairs perfectly with flowers, herbs, and other edible plants. As the years pass, these compact shrubs become increasingly productive, turning a simple container into a reliable source of fresh hazelnuts with very little ongoing effort. 3. Dwarf walnut tree. For many gardeners, growing a walnut tree in a container sounds impossible because traditional walnut trees are enormous, developing massive trunks, wide canopies, and extensive root systems. Fortunately, specially bred dwarf varieties make container growing entirely possible. These compact cultivars stay much smaller than standard walnuts, while still producing full-sized, flavorful, and nutritious nuts. Growing them in containers naturally limits their overall size, making them much easier to manage throughout their lifetime. Walnut trees require patience, especially during their early years. Much of their energy is invested in developing a deep, healthy root system and building a strong framework of branches before they begin producing significant harvests. Above the soil, growth may seem slow at first, but underground, the tree is establishing the foundation needed for decades of productivity. That patience eventually pays off. Once mature, a healthy dwarf walnut tree can reward gardeners with fresh walnuts year after year, transforming from a long-term gardening project into a dependable source of homegrown food. Selecting the right container is especially important because walnuts naturally produce deep roots. A large, deep pot provides the space needed for healthy root development while keeping the tree stable as it matures. Fill the container with fertile, well-draining soil rich in organic matter so the roots receive both nutrients and adequate oxygen. Place the tree in a location where it receives full sunlight for most of the day. Bright sunshine encourages vigorous growth and improves future nut production. Keep the soil consistently moist, avoiding both prolonged dryness and overly wet conditions that could damage the roots. As the canopy develops, occasional pruning helps maintain a manageable size while improving airflow and allowing sunlight to reach more branches. Removing crowded or weak growth also directs the tree's energy towards stronger, healthier wood capable of producing better harvests. Eventually, the years of care are rewarded with your first crop of fresh walnuts. Their rich flavor and freshness are difficult to match compared with store-bought nuts that may have spent months in storage. Although growing a dwarf walnut tree requires patience, many gardeners agree that harvesting homegrown walnuts from a container makes the wait more than worthwhile. 4. Pistachio tree. When most people think of pistachio trees, they picture endless orchards growing under the blazing sun in dry desert climates. What many gardeners don't realize is that compact pistachio varieties can also thrive in containers, making them an excellent option for patios, balconies, and other small outdoor spaces. These trees are naturally adapted to harsh conditions, including intense sunlight, dry air, and rocky soil, so they require far less attention than many other nut trees. Rather than struggling during hot summers, pistachios actually flourish in warm, sunny weather. One of the most common mistakes gardeners make is watering too often. Pistachio trees are built for dry environments, and constantly wet soil can quickly damage their roots. It's much better to water deeply and then allow the soil to dry slightly before watering again. Fast-draining soil is essential because healthy roots depend on good airflow and the absence of standing moisture. Full sunlight is just as important. Position the tree where it receives several hours of direct sunshine every day to encourage strong growth and improve future nut production. Without enough light, the tree develops more slowly and produces fewer nuts. Pollination is another factor worth considering. Traditional pistachio trees are either male or female, meaning both are usually needed for successful harvests. However, many modern grafted dwarf varieties simplify the process, making container growing much easier for home gardeners. Pistachio trees grow slowly, gradually developing strong branches and a sturdy framework that supports many years of dependable harvests. Even before they begin producing nuts, they make beautiful ornamental plants, thanks to their twisted branches, textured bark, and graceful canopy that resembles a living sculpture. Once established, they're highly tolerant of drought, poor soil, extreme heat, and difficult growing conditions, making them one of the easiest low-maintenance nut trees to grow. When your first crop finally arrives, the rich flavor, fresh aroma, and satisfying crunch of homegrown pistachios make every year of waiting worthwhile. Although they mature gradually, compact pistachio trees become dependable producers that reward gardeners for decades. 5. Pine nut tree. Most people associate pine trees with towering forests and mountain landscapes rather than container gardens. However, certain dwarf pine varieties adapt surprisingly well to life in large pots, and, given enough time, can even produce edible pine nuts. Unlike many fruit-bearing plants that require regular attention, dwarf pines grow slowly and steadily, focusing on developing strong roots and their naturally attractive shape. Their slow growth is actually a major advantage because it means less pruning, less maintenance, and fewer gardening chores throughout the years. Instead of constantly trimming the tree, you simply guide its development and allow nature to shape the rest. One of the greatest benefits of growing a pine tree is its year-round beauty. Its evergreen needles provide vibrant color, texture, and structure during every season, keeping patios and balconies attractive even in winter when many other plants lose their leaves. Long before the tree produces its first pine nuts, it serves as a beautiful ornamental feature. Another reason gardeners appreciate dwarf pines is their remarkable toughness. Once established, they tolerate cool temperatures, dry conditions, poor soil, and changing weather far better than many container-grown plants. Their watering needs are simple. Keep the soil moderately moist while allowing the surface to dry slightly between waterings, and always provide excellent drainage to prevent root problems. As the years pass, mature trees begin producing cones that hide edible pine nuts inside. Harvesting requires patience because meaningful crops usually take several years to appear. But once production begins, healthy trees continue producing cones for many seasons.
Rather than declining with age, mature pines often become even more reliable.
Growing a pine nut tree is less about instant rewards and more about investing in a beautiful evergreen that slowly transforms into a dependable source of fresh, homegrown pine nuts while enhancing your outdoor space every day of the year. 6. Chestnut tree. Chestnut trees are often an unexpected choice for container gardeners. Although traditional chestnuts grow into massive forest trees, modern dwarf and hybrid varieties have made growing them in pots much more practical. Compared to slower-growing nut trees like walnuts and pines, compact chestnuts often show noticeable new growth each season, giving gardeners the satisfaction of watching their tree develop year after year. They're also highly ornamental. Their large, glossy green leaves create a dense canopy that gives patios, balconies, and small gardens a lush, tropical appearance long before the tree begins producing nuts.
Chestnuts thrive in full sun and grow best in fertile, well-draining soil with slightly acidic conditions.
Unlike drought-tolerant species, they appreciate consistent moisture, although excess water should always drain away freely to keep the roots healthy. Since chestnuts naturally want to become large trees, selecting a spacious container and pruning regularly helps maintain a compact size. Routine pruning improves airflow, shapes the canopy, and encourages better nut production over time. Pollination is another important factor. Like hazelnuts, chestnuts usually produce larger harvests when another compatible variety grows nearby, allowing cross-pollination to improve yields. As the tree matures, flowers develop into distinctive, spiny husks that eventually split open to reveal smooth, glossy brown chestnuts inside. Harvesting these fresh nuts is one of the most satisfying moments for any gardener.
Compared with store-bought chestnuts, freshly harvested ones are sweeter, softer, and noticeably richer in flavor.
Whether roasted over an open fire or used in your favorite recipes, homegrown chestnuts offer exceptional quality just steps from your home. With attractive foliage, relatively fast growth, and dependable harvests, compact chestnut trees provide one of the most rewarding edible trees for container gardeners. 7. Compact macadamia tree. Macadamia trees are often associated with tropical plantations and large commercial orchards, but compact varieties now allow home gardeners to grow these premium nuts in containers as well. With proper care and a little patience, these attractive trees adapt surprisingly well to life in pots and eventually become dependable producers of one of the world's most prized edible nuts. During their early years, macadamia trees concentrate on building a healthy root system and developing strong branches instead of producing large harvests. Although this requires patience, mature trees reward the wait with exceptionally rich, buttery nuts that taste far fresher than anything found in grocery stores. Because macadamias naturally grow in warm climates, maintaining suitable temperatures is essential. They thrive in mild weather and perform especially well on sunny patios, protected balconies, greenhouses, or other sheltered outdoor spaces. In colder regions, winter protection may be necessary to prevent cold damage and encourage healthy growth. Bright sunshine is equally important. Ideally, the tree should receive at least 6 hours of direct sunlight every day. If grown indoors, placing it near a bright south-facing window or supplementing natural light with grow lights can significantly improve results. Plant it in a loose, fertile, well-draining potting mix enriched with compost and perlite to provide both nutrients and healthy root aeration. Water consistently, keeping the soil evenly moist without allowing it to become either completely dry or constantly wet. Maintaining balanced moisture is one of the keys to growing a healthy macadamia tree. As the tree matures, occasional pruning keeps its size manageable, improves airflow, and encourages productive new branches. Feeding regularly throughout the growing season also supports vigorous growth and increases future harvests. Eventually, green outer husks begin forming along the branches. As they ripen, the husks naturally split open to reveal the valuable macadamia nuts hidden inside. Freshly harvested macadamias have an incredibly creamy texture and rich, buttery flavor that's difficult to match with packaged nuts that may have been stored for months. What is often considered a luxury food becomes something you can harvest just outside your own door. Along with its attractive appearance, a healthy, compact macadamia tree can continue producing delicious nuts for many years, making it both a beautiful ornamental plant and a dependable long-term food source.